Mr. George, rock party. Mr. George, rock party.
Name's Roger Boaty. Mr. George, Roger Boaty.
Of course it is, George. Right, let's. Oh, here we go. God, I haven't started, and the frog has jumped straight into my throat. Let me just microphone you up. There we are. Splendid. Good evening, darlings, and a very warm welcome to Tuesday. A very warm welcome to Tuesday Night Live with me, Boaty, and I am going to be spurting into your eyes and your ears and, quite frankly, any other available orifices for the next 57 minutes. Gosh, that's exciting, isn't it? And yeah, I have kind of not been here for a little while, haven't I? But it's jolly nice to be here with you tonight, and I will be explaining all of that. And I'm really looking forward to catching up with you all because, oh gosh, I mean, it feels like it's been forever. It hasn't been that long. I last spoke to you last Wednesday night. God, it has. It has been that long, hasn't it? It's been 6 days. 6 days. My God, how much has changed in that time? But we're all back together again, and that's lovely. So, who have I got? Let's have a look. Oh, bless you, Trace. The Greenwood, the lovely Trace. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I shouldn't be this excited for a live stream that has only been AWOL for 2 episodes. Welcome back, Boaty. Thank you, Trace. Evening all, evening chat, I've missed you. Oh, that's lovely. Steve Colg is with us, Barry is here. Hi all, that guy from SETI Alpha 5. Boaty's World, sponsored by Trace's Rack. God, yeah, I'd forgotten about that. The lovely Trisha Alderman is here right in our midst. Good evening, Trisha. Oh God, here we go. We're only about 5 comments in, and we're on to Tracy's knockers. Cheeseburger wants a refund on his membership. Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you, Cheeseburger? I hope you're well, sir. Skick is here, the lovely Skick. Steve W, hope you're feeling better, Mr. Boaty. That's very kind. Bad Books is here. Good evening, all. Joe, the lovely Joe, Cars with JC. I've missed you, Jason. Oh, that's lovely. Now, don't make me cry tonight, all right? I've been doing too much of that over the last few days. Don't go being nice to me or anything. Just give me... What's that? Oh, it's just that on the fridge, isn't it? Oh, yeah, of course. It's the old King Boland thing back from its... Yeah, I lent it to somebody, so it's not been there for a while. Excuse me. Oh dear. Oh, Joe's missed me. That's really kind. Richard Howlett is here. Oh, Big Joe. Now, Joe does give a big hug and a good hug. He does. I had a hug today, you'll be glad to know. And I took it as the hug was delivered by Captain Mustard. And he meant it, and I took it as a hug from you all. So thank you all for the lovely hug. Tricky chaps, words. Wine will help. Wine helps with everything. Thank you all for the lovely hug I had earlier today. And thank you to Mustard for the lovely lunch I had earlier today. I had lunch with Mustard and Senior Mustard today, and I didn't pay for it. Mustard did, and that made it all the nicer. Now, I'm sure you'll want to know. So I had kibida with chips and salad, and I didn't have any sauce, but I had extra chili peppers and jalapenos because I'm like that. Oh yeah. Well, we're into Faulty Towers again, aren't we? Would you like coffee? This is Basil to Mrs. Painoir. Would you like coffee? Ah, oui, s'il vous plaît. Café au lait. Café au lait. Oh, au lait. Quite. Good old Basil. I was wondering where you got to, mate, says Barry. Well, I'll tell you. Neil says, hello, you big sexy beast. Hope you are well. Good news has happened. Oh, here we go. Project Bruce, which is Neil's brand new, well, not brand new, but brand new to him, MGZT, oh, fuck, I've forgotten again, 160, isn't it? It's a 1.8 turbo. Project Bruce is on the open road after a mere 2 days. Me and Soph, oh, hang on, right, 2 important words in there. We'll come back to those 2 important words. Have had the head off and skimmed and refitted it all, and he's mint. Well, that's brilliant, but let's go back to that 2 words. Me and Soph. Our Sophie, ladies and gentlemen, it looks as if our Sophie has been getting her little Donnies dirty. She's been getting all hands-on and physical with not only Neil, but with Project Bruce. Oh, God. That's just made me think about getting all hands-on and physical and sweaty with Bruce Forsyth. Oh, imagine that. Higher or lower? Oh, there you go. Feature 1, Bruce Forsyth, would you? And if you wouldn't, feature 2 or feature 1A, which Bruce would you most like? Which Bruce would be your first choice for a jolly good pottering session? And that does include males and females, because off the top of my head, I'm thinking, well, Fiona Bruce. So, you know, you're not limited to Bruce Forsyth or Bruce Willis, or I can't think of any other Bruces. And I can't think what Fiona Bruce looks like. Never mind. Hello, toast toppers, says Project Nigel. You know, also known as Captain Mustard, also known as the Hairy Paddington. And special thanks go out to Mustard for reaching out and making sure that we had a nice day today, actually. I've not been doing videos, obviously. I've not been doing live streams. I've not been doing videos. I've been hiding away from the world and just being generally mentally fucked up and crying quite a lot, actually. And so today we didn't do any filming, but we did spend the afternoon together. I went to the yard and we had lunch with Senior Mustard at Istanbul, which was lovely. And then I drove Mustard back here, and then Mustard took Barney back, because part of this whole thing, as some or most or even all of you know, is the wretched, the lovely neighbour, and somebody has been telling tales to the landlord, complaining about the number of my cars, which are legally parked on a public road, but that doesn't stop some people. And of course, I don't know which neighbour it is, but who can guess which of my neighbours has gone running to the landlord? Not to the letting agency, not to the company that I rent through, but to the actual owner. Now, as far as I know, there's only one of my neighbours who personally knows Chris, the owner of Windy Bottom. And it just so happens that that neighbour is the recently retired neighbour who has complained about the noise. So am I unreasonable in thinking that it might be him who's complained about the cars? Anyway. Truth be told, I probably have got too many. I talked before about having a thinning out and having a redo of things and having cars for sale, or a car for sale here rather than just at the yard. And so, it kind of does make sense, and taking my trade policy back on instead of having individual policies and all that. So there's basically, cut a long story short, a couple of cars are going to be going. And the first one went today. And that was Barney, the Streetwise, which isn't actually my car. Barney is a fleet car, a company car. I own 1/3 of him. So he was the obvious choice. So Barney is up for sale, and Barney is up, probably not at the yard, actually, probably parked on the road somewhere near Mustard's place, I imagine. I think that was the plan. But he's up there anyway. He's in the foothills of the Pennines, and he is for sale. So that's the first one. But we'll come on to all of that. I will tell you everything that's happened, my loves. And before I forget, I just want to say a massive and heartfelt thank you to everybody who's messaged me, rang me, left comments on the post that I put up, and basically a huge thanks to all of you for just generally giving a shit. I mean, it means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much to all of you. I won't shout you out individually, but you all know who you are. And it really meant a lot. People have been ringing, pinging, and yeah, I mean, it's just lovely. I was just in, oh yeah. Well, we'll come on to all of that. Just let's get through some more comments, shall we? Just dropping by to say hello and good to see you back online. And that's Steve. Thank you, mate. Richard Myers, welcome back, Boaty. Thank you so much. What are toast toppers? Lol at toast toppers, says Trace. I was talking about them on the live stream the other night. I don't know what a toast topper is. Somebody enlighten me. Dan Peters is here. A very warm welcome, Mr. Boaty, sir. Hope your day was filled with happiness. Well, today kind of was. Well, it certainly had a bit more happiness in it than the last 5 days did. Bloody hell. Neil says, we did have a slight issue with the misfire. What, on Sophie or on the ZT? But that seems to have disappeared. Well, that's good news, whichever of them it was. He's running mint. Hope you're well, mate. Much love to you in the chat. Oh, that's very sweet, Neil. AKA the Gibbonator. Il Gibbonatore. Ross is here, Dinosaur Dad. Hi all, this is weird on 2 levels. Boats is back at last, and I'm actually watching tonight with a glass of the red stuff in good old... Oh, God, Ross is here. I completely forgot about that with everything going on. Our friend Ross, Dinosaur Dad. He's on UK soil. Oh, my God, and he's watching live. That's brilliant. Oh, and Liz is here. Jabberwocky 220 GTI. Hello, everyone. Hi, Liz. And Trace says, hi, Liz. I was wondering how you were the other day. Gosh, Yes, welcome back to Blighty, Ross. Welcome back indeed. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Barry. Good evening, Boaty, says Jimmy Quinn. I thought you were dead. Oh, Joe. Oh, bless you. I told you, don't make me cry tonight. You have no idea how much I've missed your lives and videos, Jason, says Joe. You are a massive part of our lives. Oh, don't you dare make me cry. I'm not doing that. Dan's got a question for me. What would be your favourite go-to car in terms of Rover or MG, or possibly a different make? God, I would still. Oh God, no. Oh, that's going to change from minute to minute and day to day. But at the moment, I would answer that question by saying that I would quite like a Rolls Royce Silver Shadow 2. There you go. I still fancy a Disco 3. Tell us the truth, says Steve. You're running an Undertaker's on the side. I have got a potential new side hustle coming up. I'll come on to that. What country would you say has the best food? Asked Dan. I love Dan's questions. He comes up with some great ones. What country has the best food? Well, I'm biased at the moment, but I would probably have to say, God, what an impossible one to answer. Well, the immediate answer was going to be Nepal. And then I thought, well, would it be China? But actually, thinking about it, it depends how you define best. Oh, how do you define best food? I mean, food is kind of the ultimate subjective thing, isn't it? So if you were going to define best, you would have to try and do it with some objectivity, and that's kind of difficult. So objectively describing food, you'd have to say that the most objective definition of best food would be the Michelin guide. So you'd have to answer based on that. And which country has the greatest number of Michelin stars? I would have thought it's going to be either France. I would guess France, or possibly Spain. I know that the last time I was checking and involved, I think 3 of the top 5 restaurants in the world, according to the Michelin Guide, were in Spain. I think they were all actually in the Basque country in San Sebastian. I mean, France is kind of the home of traditional fine dining. That's a really impossible one to answer, but I'm going to say, which country would you say has the best food? I'm going to answer that with France. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's my personal favorite. But answering that question objectively, I would say France. What would you like to say? Nice to see it. Nice. So, oh dear. No, oh yeah, Steve W.E.'s gone with Fiona Bruce in the great Bruce podgering off. Trying to think what she looks like, and I can't remember. Neil says there were a few 5-minute breaks from her. Approximately 3 minutes of work equals 5 minutes of break. Oh, we're talking about Sophie working on Bruce. Oh, bless her. I'm sure she's been doing incredibly well. Everybody's welcoming Ross back to Blighty, which is nice. Oh, Simone's here, hooked on classics. Good evening. Cheeseburger says, does that mean you cancelled last night's Lonely Wank in a Travelodge, which is from now on what I'm going to call those? Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Cancelled everything. I've managed to get myself to work, to the restaurant. Other than that, I've not left the house. Not for any reason. I've just been hiding from everybody, hiding from the world in general. So yeah, the Travelodge thing didn't happen. I mean, I actually thought about that. And when I thought about the reality of it, I thought, well, I forgot about the daylight thing. And you don't want to be stuck, You don't want to be stuck in a hotel from the time it gets dark, do you? So I'm not gonna. I'm going to do it when the clocks go back, when things change. No point in doing it over winter. It's a bit daft. You'll just be holed up in your hotel room all the time. You want to do it when you're not going to be getting into your hotel room until it gets dark at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or something. You know, you can make the most of being by the seaside. So yeah, it was cancelled. Didn't happen. Lonely wank in a travelodge. That would actually make a good title for my autobiography, wouldn't it? A lonely wank in a travelodge. I'll tell you what it would make. It would make a good title for tonight's live stream. Yeah, so how about that as a title suggestion? Lonely wank in a travelodge, dash, cancelled, boom. That would make a good Chops Garage video title, actually, wouldn't it? Nothing more dangerous than a bored recent retiree, says Steve W. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, when he was working in his high-powered police job and coming home at all times of the day and night, never a problem, never an issue. Suddenly and he took early retirement. He's not old. He's not old. And suddenly they're tucked up in bed at 10:30. And if I happen to fart after 11 o'clock, they can hear it and probably write and complain to the landlord. But I'm not giving a shit about that tonight, to be honest. And there's a very good reason for that. And I will be coming to that later on. I'm going to tell you the whole story. My neighbour is the same, says Dan, a totally horrible person who will park on my parking space when he has a driveway. And he's worked for 40 years, yet has less than the average 20-year-old. Oh dear. Your neighbour, says Cheeseburger, coppers never retire. He can't stop you parking a taxed car legally on the street, and you aren't running a business from your home. Cheeseburger says, I didn't know you weren't well, mate. I don't have Facebook. Yeah, I keep forgetting you don't do Facebook. I should have put something on. I should have put something on YouTube, shouldn't I, on the thing? But yeah, I've had a bit of a mental health hiccup, Cheeseburger. Combination of things, and they just, one thing, two thing, you can deal with it. But when a load of things come, then sometimes it just gets a bit too much, and that's what happened to me. Hopefully, I'll be coming out of it soon. Toast toppers, says Trace, were small Heinz cans, very small, of savoury gloop, i.e. ham and cheese, that you literally topped your toast with and then popped it under the grill until they were hot. Now discontinued. Good. They sound revolting. Curtain twitchers, says Ross, are the biggest pain in the arse. They are the trolls of the internet. God almighty. Yeah, it's a horrible feeling. The feeling that you're constantly being bloody spied on. I hate it. But I've got a feeling that I might be able to work past it now because things are changing. The worm is turning. Who remembers that? God, that was a Two Ronnies thing, wasn't it? Cheeseburger, you'll remember this. You remember everything that I enjoyed. Yeah, do you remember it was called The Worm That Turned, wasn't it? The Worm That Turned. And unless I'm getting it mixed up with something else, I think that was the Two Ronnies thing. It was a fairly long running thing where women took over everything. And Diana Dawes was all dressed up in leather. And who remembers that? Fill in the gaps because I can't remember anything more than that about it. I remember it being called. There are a couple of those Two Ronnies thing. I remember The Worm That Turned, and I think that's the one with Diana Dawes and the women all marched about in leather, which was actually quite erotic, and I suspect was nothing to do with the empowerment of women, and more to do with the sexual excitement of men. I mean, to be honest, I doubt that if women took over the world, genuinely took over the world, I doubt they'd be marching about in figure-hugging leather things and stockings and all. I mean, that's just bloody Ronnie Barker being a pervert, isn't it? God almighty. I've just had a brilliant idea for a calendar. Who would buy this? Genuinely, who would buy this? I mean, in these days of what do you call it, CGI or photo manipulation and all of that, I bet you I could do this. How would you fancy a calendar where every month had a picture of Ronnie Barker in the character of Arkwright scuttling Nurse Gladys Emanuel, and in 12 different positions, one position for each month. So January could be her on top, February could be cowgirl, March could be missionary, April could be doggy. Fuck, I'm going to run out of positions here. Oh God, now am I going to get into the realms of oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh God, now I'm thinking about Arkwright having a few laps around Nurse Gladys Emanuel's chocolate speedway. And I don't think any of us need to imagine that, quite honestly. But I think that would be a good idea for a calendar. Sorry, I'm just reading ahead a bit. Simone says, I can't see Dinosaur Dad's comments. What's going on with you two? Oh, dear. Trey says, if you start crying, Boaty, please get a clean rag for your leaking face. That one you have there will likely give you ringworm or cholera or something. Oh, dear. It's not as bad as it looks. It's not as bad as it looks. I mean, it does get laundered very, very regularly. It's just, yeah, it's gone a bit sort of old pants grey, hasn't it? Dear, oh dear. I mean, this is just, my daily rag. If you came here to eat, then you would get a beautiful, crisp white napkin that I stole just for you from the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. I mean, this is a disgrace, really, isn't it? An absolute disgrace. And the idea that I allow it to be seen on camera is fucking outrageous. Steakold waits for Italian food being the best in the world. Ross says, okay, I've been in the West Country all last weekend and can confirm that the vehicle of choice, is by far the Dacia Duster. OAPs clearly like cheap 1980s Renault-based jacked up simple cars. Right, there we are. Barry says, never hide away, face whatever it is and make it your bitch. Well, yeah, that's kind of excellent advice, really. But you need to be in the right place to do that. Oh, excuse me. And sometimes you just need to retreat and keep your powder dry and get your shit together and get your support around you. And that's kind of what's been going on. I mean, tonight's a bit of a turning point thanks to a thing that I'm going to tell you about. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to face tomorrow very, very differently. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of not shit giving going on. Hang on. I'm trying to come up with the vocal equivalent of that meme that I love, where a farmer is displaying his field like that. Oh God, I can't remember it now. Oh, I can't remember. It's a brilliant meme. I used to love it. And it was something like, behold my field, and something about it being totally, I can't remember. It was a meme based on that, you would literally struggle to comprehend the number of fucks that I don't give. Oh dear. I disagree, says Trace. Read Dark Afternoons and Hotels Rooms. This is a perfect time to get away. I feel trapped and claustrophobic in my city. Thankfully, I have a day or two at the coast planned for the next 8 weeks. The worm that turned, says Trace. I got that right. The Boaty that returned. I've never had a toast topper, says Mustard. They were disgusting. Hang on, going back to Trace's comments. Is it the perfect time to get away when you've got really long nights? I suppose it depends on the hotel. I mean, if you're in a nice resort hotel where you can chill out at the bar and go for a swim and go to the gym and go to the casino and podger a waitress, then yeah. I mean, if, if you're in a poxy Travelodge in Rill, I'm not so sure. But, I'm open to being persuaded. Maybe go next month instead. Bad Book says, our neighbour's retired dad moved into their static. He kept complaining about cars on our drive. They decided they owned the boundary. I lost my temper. He moved out and happy days since. Oh, you're all saying the worm that turned. Oh, yeah, that was the other one, Ross. The phantom raspberry blower of old London town. Tiger style, says Steve. I don't know that one. Oh, God, we're onto the bloody calendar now, aren't we? May could be the rusty trombone. What's tiger style? Somebody tell me or don't tell me. The phantom raspberry blower of old London town. Yeah, that was a great one. Live title. It's not as bad as it looks. Oh, God, I've got this vision of Arkwright and Nurse Gladys Emanuel. Oh, God, the rusty trombone. Dear me, can you imagine what his face would be like? Standing there with his brown coat wrapped up like that, looking at Nurse Gladys. Oh, dear. Oh, okay, well, that's May taken care of. And then June, we could do the old 69, a meal for two with a hairy view. And I imagine it would be with those two. Simone says, Boaty, I saved the Bolton washer from my bike engine. Massive relief. Well done, you. I knew you'd do it. I had faith in you, Simone. I always have faith in you, Simone. Joe says, this has made my evening to see you smile and laugh, Jason. You are a bloody legend. Bloody hell. And so sorry to hear about everything that's happened, but keep strong. I haven't told you. Cheeseburger. Thank you, Joe. Cheeseburger says, the hanky looks like it has 3 months of jizz on it. It's not a hanky, it's a napkin for a start. And it's laundered almost daily. How is the job going, mate? Also says Joe. I'm going to come on to that. There are things happening there that I need to tell you about because you are my inner scrotum. And thanks to something that happened yesterday, you're all a little bit closer to me now. Some of you know about that. Yes, Caesar Day, says Trace. James Wilson says, yeah, I'm sorry too, Boaty, about what happened. I saw your Facebook post. Hope it gets all better for you. I've been feeling down lately, but I definitely have the music of the Beatles to keep me going. Right, James, yeah. Now, I don't know if you listen to the radio, James, and if you do, I don't know if you listen to Radio 4, James, but what you really ought to do is do what I did. Hang on. Count to three, somebody. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know if you listen to the radio, James, or if you're a devotee of Radio 4. I imagine you're probably not. You're a little too young to be in their target demographic. But I would recommend to you and any other Beatles fan, get yourself onto BBC Sounds, the BBC Sounds app, and search for Eras, E-R-A-S, or search for the Beatles. And there's been a little series called Eras the Beatles, and it is brilliant. It's 4, 5 parts, maybe 6. I think I've got 1 left to listen to. And it's really, 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 really good. There's some stuff on there. There's some content that hasn't seen or heard the light of day since back in the 60s. Really well worth listening to. So, James, do check that out. if you haven't already. Pottering a waitress sounds fun, Simone. It often is. I'm all in favour of pottering waitresses. The most memorable being the waitress with the arse from the Oracle Casino, which is part of the Dolmen Hotel Resort complex in Ara in Malta. And she had the most splendid arse. And I can safely say that pottering her was a thing of great joy and delight. Fresh air at the coast says Grace. Watch the sunset or rise. Most cheapo hotels have a food place on site where you can chill with some cheap wine, etc. Well, yeah. Carpe diem, Boaty, says Liz. Oh, well, yeah, where possible. Oh, I've got so much news to tell you. James says, I always appreciated the Beatles since my grandma played them when I was younger, and I will always be a massive fan of them. I got Please Please Me and Revolver coming on vinyl. Yeah, I'm not reading that out, Barry, and quite frankly, you need psychiatric help. But Barry is taking care of December on our Open All Hours catalogue. That's all I'm going to say about that. I've unhidden the comments so you can see it. Rusty Trombone says mustard with a question mark. Who wants to tell Mustard what the rusty trombone is? Or maybe just directly tell Mrs. Mustard what the rusty trombone is. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. I didn't know about it until, God, it was when I was with, no, it wasn't. It was, God, yeah, it was in the relatively early days of Singles where a lady member of Singles wondered if I would like a rusty trombone. Oh, I don't know what it is. And she told me, and I said, yeah, I'm totally up for that. Bring it on. Bring it on, I said. Boaty, says Ross, you'll be glad to know I went to the Brooklands Museum today and went on Concord. I am glad to know that. Went on the Concord they have there. Oh, which Concord is it at Brooklands? Is it? God, I honestly can't remember. Is it Alpha Delta? Somebody will know. Tell me. As well as driving the Merc SL 65 V8 Turbo on the track, the fastest car I've ever driven. Oh, good for you. Oh, that sounds like fun, actually, Russ. That sounds like one of the best days of your life. Concord and driving the, oh, dear me. Oh. Steve Cole had stew and dumplings for supper. Oh, what have I got for supper? Oh, it's still between two. I haven't made a final decision yet. I forgot to ask you what you've all been eating. Too busy thinking about Arkwright and Nurse Gladys Emmanuel. Neil had Radio 4 on today as the ZT has a tape deck. Neil. Would you like, Neil before me. Neil, darling, would you like an OEM original fitment MGZT CD player to replace your tape player? Because I've got one. Ross says cheeseburger. I've driven that track a couple of times at corporate days. Good fun. Neil says it makes it feel right driving with Radio 4. Nothing is better than driving with Radio 4, especially at night. Video title, Granville, put your trousers up and put the calendar down. Oh dear. Simone says, the thing is, trombones can't rust. They are not made of steel. Well, other things can rust, can't they? And Simone had garlic bread and soup. Right. Okay, Neil, sorted. I was taken to dinner by a bank, said Cheeseburger, and they paid. That's where our bank charges go. My CD changer is buggered in Coney, says Simone. Oh, hello, we've got a gifted membership. Oh, this is exciting. God, don't channel members talk about plummeting. I think I'm down to about 3. I haven't dared look. I mean, not that I've been putting out anything over the last 5 days for channel members to look at, but yeah, all of the kindly gifted ones, they all kind of dropped off, and I don't think many people, if any people, actually renewed them or kept them going. So you channel members are now a very select group of people. I think there's 3 of you. Yeah, Mustard says trombones are made of brass, aren't they? Not the trombone that we're talking about. Look, somebody tell Mustard what a rusty trombone is, and then he'll understand. Oh, okay, Neil. Thank you very much. And Steve Colg has been gifted a membership. So Neil has gifted a membership very kindly. Steve Colg is the lucky recipient. That's the word I'm groping for. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Members will be down to 2 when I cancel, says Cheeseburger. I wouldn't put it past you either, you rotten swine. But Cheeseburger, I'm taking it very personally with you, and do be assured that whatever fragile state I'm in terms of mental health, if you cancel your membership, I will track you down, and I will find you, and I will sit on your head and wriggle. Okay. Now then. Right. Okay. God almighty. Right. Excellent. Okay. Right. I will quickly bring you up to speed with what's actually been happening over the last few days. So you'll forgive me if I ramble on about my nonsense and stuff. It's a bit more mental health chat. I hope you won't mind that. I hope you'll forgive me. What I find is that many of us have to juggle. Many of us have to juggle certain things that within themselves, within their own psyche, external factors. You know, you might have external factors that will make you tend towards your. We've talked about the balance before. I've talked about it many times. You know, the ego, the super ego, the balance in your brain that keeps your head above water and keeps you emotionally healthy. And I, as well as many, many, many other people, have to work on keeping that balance due to, and that could be due to external factors that are beyond your control. If you're in a situation where things are happening that are just going to make you feel a bit shit, or if you're a person who has a tendency towards depression or anxiety or whatever. And I find that if you're quite adept at keeping a balance, then you can normally ride a wave or two without going too far up or too far down. You know what I mean? So something comes along and pushes you a little bit down, and you bob back up. But when I just had a series of things. Now, the trigger to all of this was something really quite innocuous, but it was a trigger, or at least it was a potential trigger. And it was nothing bad at all, nothing really bad at all. And I can't tell you exactly what it was, but it was nothing bad. It was nothing badly intentioned. It was actually from a friend, a really good friend. But for my own personal reasons, it just made me feel a bit, you're a bit shit, really, aren't you, mate? You know, do you ever get that? Something happens and you just think, and you're not able to do a certain thing, or you're not, I can't tell you exactly, but something happens and you just think, oh, you're a bit shit, aren't you, really? You shouldn't be in this kind of position. So you're just a little bit down. And then something else happened that I really can't tell you about, that I am sworn to secrecy, but that really cut me. It's nothing to do with me per se. It's to do with somebody that I really can't tell you. I really can't tell you, but it was an incredible shock. And it's really shaken me up, And it doesn't affect me anymore. Doesn't affect me directly, but it affects people that I care about. And yeah, I can't tell you. I can't even tell you who it is, because that would kind of, but anyway, so that was that. And that kind of made me even a bit further down, more vulnerable or whatever. And then there was the thing when I suddenly get I get an email from the letting agency that I rent this place through, about the cars. And because I was already in a slightly iffy state, that was just, I mean, it sounds silly. I know it sounds silly, but that was just enough to go boom. It was like I'd been prepped, pushed down a little bit, and then all I needed to really do the damage was something that all of the negative parts of my brain could cling to and point at and say, you're a bad person, and this is going to be your punishment. And that's what it was. That's what it was. I get a thing from the landlord, from the letting company, and it wasn't a thing saying you've got too many cars, get rid of them. It wasn't we've had complaints from all of your neighbours, blah blah blah. It was trying to remember the exact wording. The landlord was approached regarding an unusual number of cars on Bottom Row, and I said that I would approach you directly to see if you could shed any light on it, which is from the lovely guy at the letting agency, a chap I get on really well with. And it was quite a nice way of putting it. So it's nothing really to lose your shit over. But because I was so far under where I normally would be, that was enough to do it. Sounds daft, I know. And suddenly, because my mind is in an incredibly negative place, then I'm thinking, right, that's it. I know who's done it, or at least I can't absolutely know, but I strongly suspect I know. I get on great with all of my neighbours. They're all lovely people, and as far as I'm aware, nobody has a problem with me or my cars. I get on great with my neighbours. They're lovely. We're not in each other's pockets, but as far as I'm aware, I've got a fabulous relationship with all of my neighbours, apart from one. And as I say, he's the one who happens to personally know the landlord. So that was it. And that was enough to just say to me, for all of the negative parts of my brain to say to me that, yeah, this is how it's going to go. You've made a complete fuck up of your entire life, and now you're going to be homeless because everybody's going to be complaining to the landlord, and the landlord's going to say, well, I don't need this shit. I'll just get rid of him and get another tenant, and that's it. You're going to be homeless on the street. You're going to be destitute, and you're going to die in a ditch somewhere. And that was it. That did me. That was on Friday morning, and that was it. It's just all of the anxiety and paranoia and depression just swamped me, completely overtook me. I couldn't think logically, and I just hid away, and have been doing ever since. I couldn't go outside because I didn't want to look at the cars, because they're the issue now. I'm paranoid as hell about somebody next door to me, watching out at everything I do and listen. I'm terrified to make a noise after like 10 o'clock at night when I go home from work. I've been literally tiptoeing around my own house. I was upstairs in my office space last night doing some work, and I had my iPad with me, and I put on some music just on my iPad. It's not loud. It's not loud music, not on an iPad. It's not like a speaker. And I suddenly thought, I can't do that. This is next to the adjoining wall. They might hear it. And I'm tiptoeing around in my, I didn't dare do a bloody live stream, did I? And it's just been horrendous. And then Rob, my best friend, he's been my friend for 32 years. I met Rob when I was in my early 20s, when I started singing. I met him at the very first, I've told you the story of how I started singing. Some of you may remember. And I met Rob at the very first karaoke that I ever went to. And he became my bestest friend. And he was with me through all of these subsequent adventures. He was a singer as well. We were together all through the amateur talent circuit that we both did. He was with me with all the karaoke stuff. And then when I decided to turn pro, he was with me for all of that. When I set up Grand Central Promotions, he was part of that. He was part of everything, and every single UK gig that I did of any nature, every one, he was there. He was my compere, he was my lighting engineer, he was my sound engineer, but above all, he was just my best friend. And I can't tell you the adventures that we had together. Honest to God, I mean, a lot of it is unrepeatable, the stuff that we did, but he was my closest friend over years and years and years and years. And we were together every day, every night. He was kind of a bodyguard as well. Because he was very protective of me, and he was a bit of a hard case, was Rob. And you can find yourself, especially in the early days when we did some dodgier venues, and so he was never going to let if anybody had any drunks or whatever, anybody had an issue, he was there. And he just and he was the best man at my wedding, and everything, and he died. I didn't even know he was ill. We've not been as close of late as we were, but thanks to social media, you stay in touch with people, don't you? And I gave him a stage name. His name was Rob Smith. Lovely man, just lovely man, and the best friend a man could wish for. His name was Rob Smith, and when when we went on to the pro circuit, me as the vocalist, but as my compere, he would do a couple of numbers at my gigs, and we did duets, and we did trios with Mel, and I mean, he was just there for everything, and he solved problems, and he was. I can't tell you how tight knit we were in those days, especially in the early days when we were out gigging 6 or even 7 nights a week. Then, I mean, we must have covered hundreds of thousands of miles together in a series of really dodgy white vans loaded up with sound and light gear. And we'd go to venues literally all around the UK, and pack up the van and drive home setting off home at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting home at 7 o'clock. All those adventures. And we were so tiny, and he died. I didn't even know I didn't know he was ill. I just again, Facebook, I saw a post from his daughter that I'm Facebook friends with saying, I can't believe I'm typing this, but Dad's died. And fucking hell. You know, what a thing. What a thing. You know, my mate Rob, he's just gone. This was yesterday. And yeah, there you go. And so yesterday was kind of, yeah. I mean, it was a bit of another Joseph situation. From the sound of it, it was, you know, I keep an eye on all of Rob's posts. He was still singing. He was doing karaoke. No, I've been wrapped up in stuff lately, man. I didn't notice that he stopped posting in July. His last post was in July, and you get tied up with stuff, don't you? And I didn't notice that there weren't any posts. I've not been doing Facebook as much. You know how it's been on YouTube, going to the max, all of the stuff happening at the restaurant. And I still don't know exactly what happened, but I know he died of cancer. From looking at comments, people said this was so unexpected. He was so positive. It seemed like treatment was being effective. So I'm guessing that he must have got a diagnosis of a particularly aggressive cancer, a bit like Joseph did. And it took him very quickly. And he's gone. I'll never get to say goodbye to him. Never get to. I just had no idea. And it's been kind of bittersweet, really, because I put the post up on Facebook that many of you will have seen. And for those wondering, where it's a photo of Rob giving me a big old kiss on the cheek. And that photo was taken at my wedding. As I say, Rob was my best man. Rob did the reception. I sang at my own reception, but Rob, it was with Rob's setup. By the time I got married, I'd retired from the music scene, and my own wedding was kind of my last ever gig. It was the last time I ever sang publicly, but it was Rob who did the night. And that picture, which is even more poignant than ever now, that was taken somewhere at the end of the reception where, you know, as you can probably see, you know, we're happy, emotional, pissed, probably. Oh, Ross, bless you. Oh, God, what a lovely thing. Thank you. Thank you, Ross. I'll come back to that. And so that's when that picture was taken. And it's, I'll post other pictures of us. I can't tell you how, it was the kind of relationship the kind of friendship that you only get when you're in an extreme situation. And the thing that springs to mind is friendships made in the army and of course it's nothing like that, but in a weird way, it kind of is a bit like that. When you're out gigging every night, you're driving 3, 4, 5 hours to a venue, you're setting up, you're pitting yourself against the audience, and it's hard work. Believe me, it's hard work when you're a self-contained act. You know, it's not just like turning up to a gig that somebody else has organized and you just grab the mic and sing for a 45-minute set or 2 45-minute sets. You've got to drive there in a van or 2 vans. You've got to build your sound rig. You've got to build your light rig. You've got to do all of that, and then you've got to do your sets. And Rob was involved in all of that. As I say, he was my compere. He introduced me. He did all of my sound, all of my lights. He was involved in all of the, when we went on to do all of the corporate stuff, he was at the core of all of that. He was my partner. There were three of us eventually. There was him, me, and Mel. But Rob was there from day one, from the very, very, very beginning, when I was nothing. I can't do. Over the forthcoming days or weeks, I'll start telling you some of the stories of Rob and me and Rob and Grand Central and Goes to Nightingales and the shit that we got up to. But I mean, all I can say is that we were as tight can be. And as life goes on and things change, then you drift apart a little bit, but you never forget that tightness, that bond. He was part of, and the thing is that Rob, because we were so close, Rob became part of everything else. So Rob was a massive part of more than one of my romantic relationships. He was in, my mum loved him to bits, all shit like that. And he's gone. He's fucking gone. And yesterday was kind of bittersweet because a load of people reached out to me, people that I've not spoken to for a long time, ex-girlfriends who were part of his life, because of course I put that post up with Rob tagged in it. So even people that are not friends with me or who are no longer friends with me because they're ex-girlfriends or whatever, they would have seen it on, because Rob was tagged in it. And I've had people reach out to me, and it's been great catching up with people. It's been really, there's a lot of shared guilt going on. Everybody who's reached out to me, we've all been saying the same thing. Yeah, I said I'd go and sing with him, and that's the question that I've been asked more than anything else by everybody. When did you last see him? And I'm ashamed to say it's been years for me. Others have seen him within the last year or so. And yeah, just what a thing. What a thing. It's just, he wasn't part of my daily life anymore. But this is how I thought of it the other day. And I said this to Mustard in the car today. If you think of your life as being a jigsaw puzzle, the picture on a jigsaw, and that's your whole life, not just what's happening now, but throughout what's happened throughout your whole life, from when you were born to now, that is your jigsaw picture, right? And everything that's happened in your life and every person that's been involved with your life is in that jigsaw. And as you get older, piece by piece, pieces of your jigsaw are taken away. You lose a parent, that's a big piece gone. You lose another parent, another big piece gone. You lose a sibling, another massive piece gone. You lose your best friend, another massive piece gone. And they don't even have to die, they just have to cease being part of your life. And that's the way I feel at the moment. I feel as if my jigsaw, my life, has just got so many missing pieces now. All of my family dead, gone, missing pieces, just gaps in my jigsaw. Best friends gone, relationships, people that I loved, people that I still love and cared about, but then nothing to do with me anymore, not part of my life, gone, empty pieces. Children that I raised, that I loved, that I agonized over, that I cared for, that I made myself the best person for, they're gone, missing pieces. And your life just becomes this jigsaw that becomes increasingly more sparse. And that's, I don't know. I don't know. But there you go. So, yeah, so that's what's been happening. Let's just catch up with comments and then I will finish off. Oh, God, I've missed a lot, haven't I? I have missed a lot. Let's whiz through these. Mustard couldn't have a rusty trombone. Mrs. Mustard couldn't reach. I'm not reading that out, Cheeseburger, but no, I won't tie you up and spank you. Mrs. Mustard would need both hands. Mental health chat is most welcome, says Trace. We all have mental health, and sometimes, in some or most of us, it goes wonky. Bloody does. Mental health is such a hard thing, says Joe, and it's amazing you're talking about it. If you ever needed someone, I'm always a call away, and I really mean that. Bless you. Thank you. Ross says 28 here and only 8 likes. Yeah, well, the other 22 think it's a load of shit and they don't like it. My depression is on the rampage at the moment, says Simone. I'm really sorry to hear about that. Crimbo does not help. It really doesn't. I agree. Trace says, I like once the stream is over so that it marks that I've watched it for my own records. Oh, right. Okay, that's interesting. Darker evenings are crippling me, says Trace. I'm having to put all the lights on in my flat just to try to trick my brain into thinking it's still daylight. So it's costing me quite a bit just to feel better. Steve says, my anxiety is terrible nowadays. I'm pretty much agoraphobic because I've spent too much time working from home and not enough going out and about. I feel that pain and, excuse me, yeah, every sympathy with that. It becomes an ever decreasing circle, doesn't it? When you get a bit depressed, so you spend more time at home, and that makes you more depressed, so you spend even more time at home, and suddenly it becomes a struggle to get dressed and go out. So I totally get that. Just please do always, I hope you don't mind me speaking about my situation, whatever, and please don't ever feel that you shouldn't mention these things when we're chatting together, because that's what our community is about, really. We shouldn't need to hide anything from each other. Kicked in the balls when you're already down. Yeah, been there many times, mate. We probably all have, Ross, but I mean, how do you deal with it? I'm not in a position to give anybody else advice, but I will tell you how I deal with it these days. I recognize that I'm on a wobble and I try to take the pressure off. So I understand that I'm not going to be thinking logically or rationally, and I give myself time. Now, whether that's an hour or a day or a week, I give myself time where I'm not going to put myself under pressure to do. All I've got to do is I've got to go to work, and I've got to go to work properly. I need to sleep, I need to eat, and I need to not get drunk. Other than that, if I don't want to do anything, then I don't do anything, and I don't push myself, and I just give myself that time to just get my equilibrium back. I know it will happen. Oh, and also, I don't take any major decisions when I'm in that place, because your decisions will be fueled by all of the negativity going on in your head and none of the positivity. It would never be a balanced decision. For example, YouTube. Everything in me over the last 5 days has been telling me to stop YouTube, that it's ridiculous, that it's a waste of time, that it's too much effort for not enough reward, that it's indicative that I'm a complete loser and I should be doing something much more worthwhile, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Now, I've ignored that. And I've not come out and said, yeah, I'm not going to do YouTube. All I've said is to a couple of people is I can't do it tonight, maybe tomorrow. because I know that those feelings aren't genuine. I love this. I absolutely adore this, and I'm so happy to be back tonight. I'm so happy I was able to do this tonight, and I already feel much better for it. And I knew, on one level, I knew that all of those thoughts going on in my mind, they're thoughts born of the lack of balance at that particular time. So, I accept that they're there, and I accept that at that time, I'm not going to be making a video, and I'm not going to be doing a live stream because of the way that my emotional well-being is, or my emotional balance is. But I don't allow that to allow me to make any decisions, long-term decisions or major decisions, because I think, okay, this is the way I'm feeling at the moment. I might feel this way tomorrow, might even be the day after and the day after that, but I won't be feeling like this forever. So you just put yourself on hold. You make sure that you do the bare minimums. You eat, you sleep, you don't get off your skull on alcohol or drugs or whatever your particular thing is. You don't go out and commit mass murder. If you've got a spouse, you don't make their life misery, and you go to work. And you just wait for better times to come, I think. That's how I deal with it anyway. Oh, hello, John's here. Hey, Boaty, hey, chat. Sorry I've not been on here so much. Well, neither have I, mate. But I've had personal issues last week. Well, yeah, so have I, mate, Joe. So neither of us have been it. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, John, bless you. I had 2 mini strokes last week. It's knocked me about a bit. I nearly died, so I'm glad to still be here. John, Jesus Christ, mate. Oh, Lord above. Oh, gosh. Dear me. Well, we're bloody glad that you're here as well. And I mean, I assume you're talking about TIAs. And Lord above. Well, no wonder it's knocked you down a bit. Hopefully you got all of the medical intervention that you needed, and so glad you're still with us. Thanks for being here tonight. And bloody hell, well, let's all cling to the wreckage, shall we? Oh, hello. I've been looking at your posts. Rocket Max, the lovely Max, the world's leading Elton John tribute act. I've been looking at all your posts, mate. Lovely to see you. Hi, Boaty. Good to see you. Keep your chin up, my good man. I'm trying. Yeah, I was jealous of you. I'm always jealous of you because you're living, well, I can't say you're living my dream because I did it as well. But you're living my old life, and sometimes I miss it. But I don't really get jealous because, I was lucky enough to be there and do it too. But I did get jealous of you because you were in my Malta, you were in Valletta. And I thought, oh, no, I'm jealous, you bugger. I don't mind you going off on your cruise liners and going around the Mediterranean or the Caribbean, wherever you are. But, Malta, Valletta. I was jealous. But thank you, Max. Thanks for being here. And I'm chin's being kept up, mate. Oh, that's nice, Joe. That's a lovely thing to say to Simone. Oh, bless you. Oh, gosh, there's a few people suffering, aren't there? Oh, we need to, we need to cling together. And I mean, we are coming into winter, we are coming towards Christmas, and for many people, that is a difficult time. So it's all the more important that we cling together. And I promise you, I won't disappear. I mean, in terms of the live, oh God, I've missed 2, haven't I? I feel guilty now. I won't do it again. Okay, this is my pledge. I might not do videos and whatnot, but I won't not do lives again, no matter what's going on, because That's selfish. I've always said these aren't about me, and they're really not. They're about the little community that we've built. And it's very selfish of me to take that away. So I apologize for that. And that is a lesson that I've learned, that it's a bit like being a parent, isn't it? Or a carer or whatever. You might be going through shit, but you don't allow it to affect other people. So the lives will never not happen again. I don't care if I'm whatever I'm going through. I won't not do a live again. So there you go. And let's make sure that we all cling to each other over the coming dark winter. Why can't these people just mind their own business and get on with their own sad lives? Steve, agreed. Nobody here will leave you homeless. Bless you. And Neil echoes that. You'll never be homeless, mate. Too many people who care about you. Well, I've got something to say. Oh, Adam's here, pure evil. Lots of love going to John. Bill done a good day, buddy, says Mustard. You'll be okay now. And that is a great book. Thank you for today, Mustard. That made the world a difference. Sorry, oh, bless you. Oh, you're all lovely. Right, I'm going to need to go before I start crying. Diddly-do, diddly-do. Ross, that's really kind and generous of you. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for that. More love for John. Oh, swirly doom, says Trace. I didn't see that. Right, yeah, everybody, time to start saying goodnight. I will just end it with, and I'm sorry for whizzing over a few of the last comments, but we will catch up on all of this. Yeah, good point, is, but I should have put a thing in the community. I put it on Facebook, didn't put it on. Right, so, thank you, everybody. The last bit to say, and just to, I don't want to leave you on a total negative from my part. Somebody asked how work was going. Oh. And today or tonight, I had the big boss in Ripley, Vishnu, the big owner, big boss, important man type thing. And and work, to answer your question, work is going quite well. It's a bit of a weird situation. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird situation that, but Bish is comfortable with giving me complete authority over the restaurant, basically. At least, certainly in terms of front of house and front of house staff and training and whatnot. Obviously, Ram runs the kitchen. I'm not equipped to run a kitchen. And I don't just mean run the night to night doings of the kitchen, but in terms of stock control, ordering, blah 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 blah. Ram does that perfectly well. But Ram and Bish are entirely comfortable, just giving me full authority to completely run the restaurant as I see fit, which is quite exciting, really. And I'm kind of loving it. I like being out front. The weird thing is, I still haven't got a driver. So So I'm still bloody running out doing deliveries and then running out front of house, being the full-on maitre d' and host and whatnot. But I've got ideas for the future. But this is what's making the difference with my lovely neighbour, who I love dearly, and the fears of the landlord and whatnot, and so on and so on and so on. I now I didn't mention any of this to Bish, but Bish has always thought that it's a bit weird that I live out here in the sticks, miles away from anywhere, to a place that they won't come to because they're frightened of ghosts, because they believe in all of that sort of thing very much. And they think it's weird that I haven't moved to live either near them or near the restaurant or something. And they think that's very odd. And that thing was raised again today. Now, above the restaurant, is a flat, I suppose. But it's a really big flat. It's I think it's 4 bedrooms, plus a fully converted attic loft thing that's like about 5 rooms knocked into one. I mean, it's huge. It's on 3 levels. It's a flat, I suppose, because it's above the restaurant, but it's on 3 levels and it's massive, and so on and so on and so on. And it's where the guy who owns the entire building, or owned the entire building, and who, it used to be a pub way back in the day. It used to be a pub, and then a guy bought the building, an Indian guy, lovely guy called Nazir, and decades ago he turned the bottom into an Indian restaurant, Shazan, and he lived upstairs. And he had a very successful business, and he carried on until he got to an age where he had to retire. And at that point, we took over. I wasn't involved at that point, obviously, but at that point, we took over the restaurant, and it became Kathmandu Gurkha 2. And Naz continued to live up above. And I came along, and he was a nice chap, and he was elderly, and all of his family were down south, and he had health issues. And I was up there quite a lot because I would help him with whatever he needed help with, technological stuff. He kept in touch with all of his family in the UK and in India via internet links and all of that. And I used to sort that out for him. I used to look after his car for him and all of that sort of thing. And he eventually decided that, I mean, he was quite a wealthy man. And he eventually decided that he would leave the flat and move to a house that he owned near the rest of his family, somewhere down south, that was also like half a mile away from the hospital, because he was, needing to spend time in hospital as well, or as an outpatient or as an inpatient. And he had a house that he rented out down there. So he gave his tenants, his tenants were leaving anyway, I think. So he decided he would move down there, which he did. Sadly, he only lasted about a month, and then he passed away. But that left the flat upstairs empty. This happened about, I don't know, 3 years ago. And there've been a succession of tenants in the flat, sharing or whatever. And the last lot were, and some of them are still there. The flat, because it's so huge, I assume that it was rented by home care company, one of these companies of the type that are currently being investigated for what's it called? Slavery, modern slavery, or whatever the technical term for it is, where they bring Africans over, pay for their visa, pay for their fare and whatever, and then they have to work doing home care, and they make them do nonsensical hours and shit like that. I've become friendly with these people, and I knew about it anyway. There've been many things on Radio 4 about it. Modern slavery, yeah. And they're forced to do these ridiculous work. And sure enough, that's what's been happening upstairs. That's where they've been living. I think there were 3 families living up there. And I got friendly with them. And they were telling me the way their life is. You know, they have to leave for work at 6:30 in the morning. They don't get home until 11 o'clock at night. They don't get any proper breaks during the day. They don't even get, you know, never mind that they're having to do a job that they can't do because they're working too long hours. They're too exhausted. They don't even get proper breaks during their working hours. So they're nice people. They're decent people. They're not even able to do their job properly. They can't provide proper home care because the time constraints don't allow them to do it. So that's all shit. And I've been doing everything that I can to help them, because why wouldn't you? And cut a long story short, the flat upstairs it's not absolutely empty at the moment, but it's gonna be, and it is currently to let. And Bish said to me tonight, he said, upstairs is empty again, isn't it? And I said, it's not absolutely empty, but it's gonna be. He said, why don't you live there? Why don't you just live there? You know, he said it would be, he said it's huge. There is so much space for you. And he said, and then he sort of said that I can do a deal on leasing the entire building. He said, I can probably get that flat added to my building lease for probably £2,000 or £3,000 a year. He said, so nothing really. He said, so, you know, we can have a deal and you can have all of that space, and you won't have petrol to get to it. I mean, I know what he's doing. He thinks I'm really good for the business and he wants to tie me into it. But because of what's been happening, I thought about that tonight, and I thought, actually, having that as an option wouldn't be an entirely bad idea, would it? You know, having that as a fail-safe, as a fallback, or even and my mind started whirling into overtime. And Bish sort of said, well, he said, and it's so big that he said, now I'm licensed to bring people over working visas from Nepal, work in the restaurants. As we expand the restaurant, could be useful for that. I kind of said, to be honest, Bish, if you can blag all of that space for £2,000 or £3,000, or even a little bit more per annum, we'd be daft not to do it. We should take that. We can put that to use. There's external independent access. There's internal access from the restaurant. And I said, and what I could do with that, I could turn that into Airbnb. I could turn it into a series of Airbnb suites. And that would work really well if we targeted business people, you know, traveling business people. So we make nice Airbnb suites, all en suite with a nice workspace, make it really nice, really comfortable. We could probably make 4 of those. And I said, that would work out really well, because if we get business people, we'll get a double whammy. We'll get the Airbnb from them, but we'll also they'll eat in the restaurant and they'll drink from the bar at the restaurant. So we could do really well out of that. And so we started talking and we started getting excited about it all. So, yeah, there are going to be phone calls made, and we're basically going to take on the entire building. And that's going to give me a little bit of surety. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to leave here. You know, I love this place. But I don't want to live here while I'm shitting myself about making a noise after 11 o'clock, or having more than one car outside, or anything of that nature. So this could be absolutely brilliant, because if we take on all of that upstairs space, I can Airbnb it all, but I can keep a space for me. I could keep the massive loft or whatever as a space for me, either to manage the business from, have it as a sort of office or whatever, but still live here. But if push comes to shit, it means that I don't have to be shitting myself. See what I mean? It means I don't have to live in fear and kowtow and all of that bollocks. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not a bad neighbor. I'm not a bad person. I'm not an unreasonable person. You've seen my videos. You know what the score is. We've got a big old long road here, where there are no parking restrictions, right? And all of the homes here are multi-vehicle homes, and they have visitors. And as and when people need to, they park their cars down the road, not outside people's houses, just on a stretch of road. And that's what I do. So I'm going to get the cars down. I'm going to have 5 cars here, 5. One in the pits, that's my property. One outside here, pole position. That's, we all park outside our own cottages. We would never dream of parking outside somebody else's. Unwritten rule. Okay, so that's 2. And then I'm going to have 3 cars dotted down the road there, not parked outside anybody else's house, not causing a nuisance, not sheds of cars, not illegal cars, just perfectly legal cars parked up down there, 3 of them. And if those cars weren't there, they're not taking up spaces that anybody else wants or anything like that. I'm not doing anything wrong. The only thing you could say potentially is that by being parked on the lane, they're causing an obstruction, but they're not, because there are other cars parked there anyway, right? Every household here has got minimum of 3 cars, minimum. Some have got more. So everybody parks on that bit of road down there, but there's room for about 40 cars. And there are actually about 6 or 7 parked, admittedly. So most of those would be mine, but nobody's has really got any grounds for complaint whatsoever. Okay, maybe I've been pushing it lately, but I'll get it down to just 3 down there. And the 5 I've decided on, by the way, that I'm going to keep, they're going to be my permanent fleet. Oh, and this ties into my taking on my trade insurance thing. I'll be allowed 5 personal cars on my trade insurance. So, the 5 things works perfectly. And they will be Stigbert, Sir Richard and Lady Morris, Sheeson, who will become my de facto daily. I'm not so precious about using Sheeson as a daily now, because I'm not going to be running it as a bloody delivery vehicle, because when I can find a driver, I will do, and I'll just be based in the restaurant. So not precious about using. So it's going to be Stigbert, Sir Richard and Lady Morris, Sheeson, Minge Bag, and Miss Boo. And that will be the 5. Barney has already gone. Wet Leg will either go, as in sold, or, and this is the other thing, close by the restaurant, there's a road. For those of you who know, it's a road from Ripley to Alfreton, so like really relatively close to the restaurant. And there is accredited parking spaces all the way down that road. No restrictions whatsoever. There's space for about 100 cars, and there's normally 4 parked. I could park all of mine there, no problem at all. They're all legal. They could all be parked there, and they definitely wouldn't be causing a nuisance, because they're actual parking spaces. They're lined off, So you've got your 2 lanes going down there, and then either side of each lane, you've got parking spaces going all the way down, and they don't get used, or very, very little use. So I thought, fuck it, I could use them, so I can shift some cars there. So I don't want to sell wet leg. I love wet leg. So maybe going forward, I will keep 1 or 2 cars parked there. Oh, and the other thing is that road, it goes underneath the dual carriageway. So probably 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those parking spaces are underneath a bridge, dry, no rain, no snow. What a great place to park a convertible over the winter. Yeah? Thinking about it? So maybe wet leg won't be sold. I can keep 1, 2, 3 cars parked there. I'm there every night. I'm at the restaurant. I can mix them about. They don't have to just be abandoned there. So I can use that as additional parking, basically. My cars are all taxed. I pay a fortune in tax every month. None of them are sawn. They're all taxed. So they could all be parked there. It seems to be a perfectly safe thing. So that's the idea. Yeah, the thing with, sorry, I'm blathering on. I really need to go and let you guys go, don't I? I'm getting carried away because I've not done this for a while. But yeah, the thing with if we take on the upstairs thing, that's my safety net. And that means that I don't have to shit myself. And because, like I said, I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm a good neighbor. I run the village community social media group. I get on great with all my neighbors, apart from, as far as I know, nobody's got an issue with me. I'll get rid of a couple of cars just in case other people are being pissed off for whatever reason. And I'm not antisocial. You guys know the complaints about the noise and whatever. I'm using a microphone. I'm not speaking in raised tones. Okay, it is midnight now, but normally I try and make sure I've shut up by midnight. And at the end of that, I'm in my own home, and I could just be talking to my wife, or talking to my children, or talking on the phone to a friend. I'm not being antisocial. I don't play loud music. I don't get in anybody's face. I'm doing nobody any harm. So it means that I don't have to worry about it. So fuck them. And if they want to go running, telling tales to the landlord, and if the landlord decides I can't be asked for all of this, well, fuck him too. I can move into a beautiful palatial flat above the restaurant that I run, and I'll still leave my cars parked here because I can. It's just a public road. Oh dear. Right, I need to let you guys go, don't I? Oh God, there's millions of comments that I haven't got through, and I'm never gonna now, am I? Oh, excuse me. Right, Shane. Yeah, I mean, running the restaurant does mean that, obviously any of you guys, full VIP treatment all the way. I'm just having to whiz through this. Oh dear. Oh, says Trace. big flat for big noise and proper filming space and people staying for collabs and possibilities. That's what I thought there are. It's massive. It's massive, Trace. And we're above the restaurant. It's a detached building. So the only thing that you're attached to is the restaurant. I could get up to all sorts in there. Nobody would ever know. And it would save me a fortune, and it really would. It really would open up possibilities. It would save me so much money that, I could. And yeah, in terms of collabs and entertaining and whatnot, I could have 3 or 4 guest suites. It is kind of exciting. I could run a knock-in shop from there. And yeah, don't think that thought hasn't occurred. Sorry, just reading through these comments. I can't read them all out. It's too late. Move in, sell the fleet, and buy a nice L322. That thought has occurred as well. Loads of thoughts are occurring. I'm really, tonight has really kind of pumped me up. I've got the go ahead to just go ahead and do what I want with the restaurant, treat it as mine, put all of my ideas into place, and I've got some. Yeah, absolutely, cheeseburger. Oh God, so many comments. Right. Apologies for not reading stuff out. It's God Almighty. It's 1:15. It's 1:15, darlings. Oh gosh, I'm a bit all overwhelmed again. Thank you so much to God. 26 of you still with me at nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. This is amazing. This is amazing. We will pick this up again tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for as I said before, thank you for giving me a shit when I was going through my wobble. Thank you for being here with me now when I try and unwobble myself. Um, Massive thanks to Ross for that incredible generosity. Thank you to Neil for that gifted channel membership. Thank you to Mustard for a lovely lunch and for an amazing hug and for giving me his time today and for really giving a shit. And I can't tell you how moved I've been by all of you, because all of you individually and collectively have made it clear that that whatever happens, I'm not dealing with it on my own. I've got best mates, and I'm going to go before I start crying. And I'm going to get myself a really good supper, and I'm going to go to bed the happiest that I've been for a few days. And I'm excited about the time ahead. And yeah, there are loads of exciting possibilities ahead. And the best bit about it is that you can all be included with them. Oh, Steve Cole, member for 3 months and connoisseur at that. What a legend. Darlings, I will be here tomorrow night. Same time, same place, 11 o'clock. Please join me again. Thanks for tonight. If I start saying how grateful I am again, I'm going to go on for the next half an hour, and you don't need that. And I need to get out of my restaurant-y clothes and get into my dressing gown and get myself some food and fall into bed. Last, I keep saying I'm going. Last thing, Stigbit news. There is Stigbit news. I've done some bits. On Thursday, Stigbit is booked in for a new windscreen, and then other things are going to be happening tomorrow and over the weekend. And Stigbit should be going for MOT on Monday. So that's it. That's it. That really is it. I'm going now. Oh, I can fart you out, can't I? Hold on. I'm not doing the dance. I'm an important businessman type restaurateur now. I'm above doing the fart dance. You won't catch me doing that ever again. Okay, I lied. Good night, darlings. See you tomorrow. Oh, much love. Take care. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day you can tomorrow. Yada, yada, yada. Much love to you all.